Hi, how you doing? Today I was supposed to be getting my rectum removed. In the next few minutes, I'll explain why I postponed my surgery to remove my rectum and get a permanent ostomy, and how and why I came to the conclusion to do so. At the end of this video, I'll share with you what I'm doing instead of surgery, but first, a little background on me. On September of 2022, I was diagnosed with stage 3, almost stage 4 rectal cancer with a almost 5 centimeter mass. May 2023, I finished my chemotherapy and radiation treatments, and in June of 2023, I was clear of cancer for the time being. December of 2023, I had a reoccurrence in the same location. Soon after Christmas, I was scheduled for a surgery, January 30th, which is today. After posting on Facebook, a friend I met on a hunting page reminded me what I wanted to do if I ever had a reoccurrence. But first, let's go back to the timeline. Just a warning, I'm very blunt and very honest and a little bit gross. After losing weight unexpectedly and having a lot of urgency to use the restroom, my doctor recommended I get a colonoscopy after other tests didn't show anything. The week prior to my appointment, I noticed little grains of what looked like rice in my poop. I dug one out and put it under my microscope, and lo and behold, it looked like little worms. I asked a few nurses I knew, and they agreed that it looked like a parasite. So when I went for my colonoscopy, I told my surgeon what I found and showed him a picture of it. He glanced at it for about 1/100th of a second and said, "I don't know what it is." I woke up from the procedure and I was told I had cancer. After figuring everything out, meeting with an oncologist and a surgeon, I began treatment in November 2022. Soon after, I met somebody who suggested I use dog dewormer for treatment instead. I thought to myself, well, that was weird. Why would I do that? And who is this kook? After about the 10th person that told me about this, I asked my oncologist nurse practitioner. She told me she never heard of it. About a week later, she comes to me and says, "Wow, this is something else. I'm not sure it'll work for you, but this is the study done on it." I glanced at the study and, of course, I lived on. During radiation, I had an extremely bad diarrhea for about 5 weeks, which dang near got me in the hospital. Towards the end of radiation, I pooped out what looked like a big clump of worms, and about 5 centimeters in mass. I tell my nurse practitioner, and she tells me to get some pinworm medicine. So I get some, and I was feeling terrible, so I never took it. A month or so later, I met with my nurse practitioner again, and she tells me, "Remember that dog dewormer, also actually known as fenbendazole?" And then she goes on to tell me, "I have a patient who absolutely refuses to do chemo. I don't blame him, but that may be dumb." Then she drops the bomb. "Well, he started the dewormer, and now the tumor is shrinking." I think to myself, wow, that's pretty awesome. Now we're at the point where I'm clear of cancer for the time being. This is where things get even weirder. One day I was talking to a friend who is a fellow conspiracist. She goes on to tell me, "Tony, did you know that they're finding people with brain tumors have parasites and that people with cancer do as well?" Okay, that was interesting. I send my wife to a massage therapist who is extremely spiritual and very knowledgeable about alternative treatments. She tells my wife, "Did you know people with cancer have parasites?" And then goes on to say, "Did you know that the US is one of the only countries in the world that does not treat for parasites regularly?" My wife tells me of this, and of course now my brain is adding everything up. I'm not sure how true this is, but very interesting. A while later, I tell my wife, if I ever have to fight cancer again, I don't want to go through chemo again, and I think I want to try this dog dewormer. She looks at me kind of funny and reluctantly says, "Okay." We are all caught up to December 2023, kinda. Mid-October, I realized I was losing strength and energy. Towards the end of November, I started noticing something has changed. I had lost about 10 pounds unexpectedly. And in December, I started seeing blood when I wiped. For some reason, at this time, I felt like I needed to take the pinworm medicine, so I did. December 18th, I had a flex sig again and an MRI. Immediately after getting coherent, my surgeon tells me I had a reoccurrence in the same location and that surgery would be the next step. The MRI and biopsy later confirmed that what she was telling me is definitely the case. It was back. December 21st, my surgeon calls and tells me, We need to get the surgery scheduled and a CT scheduled to make sure that the cancer has not metastasized. So she tentatively schedules me for a surgery on January 30th. Merry freaking Christmas to me. December 23rd, I wrote an article on my Facebook page, which you may have read. This is when I realized that I had lost sight of what I wanted to do. A friend of mine on a Facebook hunting page reached out to me and said, "Hey Tony, call me. I may have something that'll save your life." And ding, the light came on. Instantly, I reached out to him. I said, "You're talking about dog dewormer, aren't you?" His response, "Yes, indeed." Joel was sent home with an incurable brain tumor at stage 4 to die. He is now brain tumor free and almost cancer free in other areas of his body. He even shared with me his brain scan, which is the only actual person who's proved to me that it has worked for them. Let me tell you, it's incredible. I, of course, find out what he's doing and start to investigate. With having cancer, I've learned to keep my research to a minimum. You can find yays, you can find nays on any subject that you want on the internet these days and get nowhere. What I try to do is get a decent amount of info and go with what my heart says is the right thing to do. On the morning of December 23rd, I was researching fenbendazole and ran across some interesting information. The first article I came across, out of the blue, not even searching for fenbendazole and rectal cancer, just how long it takes to work. And lo and behold, an article saying fenbendazole can help cure rectal cancer pops up. That's pretty interesting to me, of course, and fate-like. The article in the next one mentions pinworms. Okay, now this is getting real. So I find the Joe Tippin protocol that Joel used, and I modify it to be a little bit more extreme for myself. Later that day, I had my daughter go to the pet store and pick up some dog dewormer. Yep, straight off the pet store shelf. So December 23rd, I start my new treatment. I'm doing 1 gram of fenbendazole at 0.22, now in the human grade pills. 25 milligrams of CBD, 1.8 grams of CBG, 1,000 grams of turmeric, and 180 milligrams of vitamin E. I do this 6 days a week and take 1 day off on Sunday. After starting fenbendazole, I almost started putting weight back on immediately. I feel decent, and I do believe that I'm not getting any worse. December 27th, I asked my surgeon to call me, and she did. I told her what I wanted to try, and a bit reluctantly, she agreed to stretch out the surgery to March 20th in case this does not work. In the meantime, today, I have a CT, and March 4th, I have a flex sig and an MRI. After these 2 procedures, we'll make another informed decision on which way to go. A little shrinkage or staying the same is a win in my book. If it starts growing, I'll obviously look at surgery a little harder and sooner. Just the other day, sorry to say, but looking at your poop is very critical when you're dealing with this. But anyway, I looked, and sure enough, I'm pretty sure I saw parasites again. Hopefully this is a good sign it's working. Of course, time will tell. Now that you're all caught up, let me leave you with this. I want you to think about something. And bear in mind, nothing I'm saying is medical advice, and it's just what I'm doing, what I believe is going to work. What happens to an animal when it gets worms? What happens to a cancer patient when they get cancer? Yep, same thing, they lose weight. Now, is a parasite not just a cancer? A foreign object eating away at your body? How does cancer metastasize? Could it be that a parasite floats in the bloodstream and then clings to another organ? I hope this gives you a little insight and hope. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel as I'll be putting out more video updates. And have a great day. Thank you for tuning in.